Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot for November 2nd. So, not surprisingly, this reading is going to be about Trump this week. Probably really important week for him, very pivotal for his, future going forward. So, we're going to be taking a bit of a deep dive um, with regards to how Trump's going to be doing this week, not only in terms of the election, but just psychologically, mentally. How's he actually going to be functioning? So let's hope we get some answers on that. Now, I apologize for confusing Idaho and Ohio. I'm Canadian. Sometimes these words just like that. Okay, I'm going to do one more pendulum, and we're going to go through sort of some of the states that maybe are wishy-washy or some that are kind of leaning one way or the other, kind of considered toss-ups. So I'm going to do that in just a couple of minutes. So a couple things I want to say first. For those of you out there who are feeling agitated and you're looking for sort of some good news or a positive spin, I strongly recommend Maxine Taylor Astrology. She has been an astrologer for forever. And she does Trumpology reports. And, they've been pretty accurate so far. So check her out. Because maybe she will be able to reassure you from an astrological point of view that Trump really has virtually no chance of winning. And she also said something very intriguing about there was going to be a financial, literally, explosion for Trump on November 3rd. Maxine Taylor, check her out. Also, for those of you who might have missed it or, I encourage you to go to a YouTube channel called Let's Talk Elections. Because that way, not only, will you get Maxine Taylor's sort of astrological thoughts, but you're also going to get statistical thoughts, right? These are the people, or, he compiles the information from people who really get in and predict this stuff, although he does predict his own stuff. So let's talk politics, Maxine Taylor. Okay, now I got my little list here. All right. For those of you who maybe haven't seen this before, that side to side motion means this pendulum is ready to talk. Pendulum, please show me yes. And you can see it shifts back and forth. And show me no, please. And it simply moves into a circle. Now, you're going to see some tremors in my hand. That is energy. Let's start with Idaho since I got that one all messed up. Is Idaho going to... I think I'm going to ask these all from Biden's perspective. So, is Idaho going to go for Biden? Is it likely to? No, because it's a really red state from what I understand. Let's look at Iowa and Ohio, because those ones could prove to be very, very interesting. So let's check first with Iowa. Is Iowa going to go blue for Biden? No. You should also know, you guys, that I don't keep track of this. I don't make notes. I don't know what the pendulum says. I can't look back on it. For some of you who have been, awesome. I just don't need the clutter in my head. Ohio. What is Ohio going to go blue for Biden? Okay, well, that's looking like a pretty encouraging yes. All right, here we go. Nevada. Is Nevada going to go blue? That's a yes. Now, there's a lot of information to indicate that Nevada may very well, it's considered a toss-up state, but clearly pendulum, and it has for a long time, says that Nevada's going to go blue. Arizona. Is it going to go blue for Biden? Yes, it is. Okay, this one I don't even know if I've ever looked at this one. Colorado. Is Colorado going to go for Biden? Is it going to turn that state blue? Yes. Okay, and let's look at the three sort of, part of that blue wall, kind of around the Great Lakes area. Minnesota. Is Minnesota going to go blue for Biden? Yes. Pen- is Pennsylvania going to go blue for Biden? Yes. And Wisconsin. Is Wisconsin going to go blue? Okay. So with Wisconsin, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, that blue wall is now absolutely, completely intact. Okay. North Carolina. Are you going to go blue for Biden? Oh, yes, they are. And they're looking pretty forward to going blue for Biden, I have to say. Georgia. Now, Georgia's a really interesting one because they've got that Kemp, who, by the way, apparently tested positive, or no, I think is in isolation, maybe. Governor Kemp, with COVID, or he has a positive test. Honestly, I'm not sure. Georgia. Tell me about Georgia. Is it going to go for Biden? It sure looks like it is. Maybe it's tired of Kemp, and maybe it's annoyed because Stacey Abrams was like literally denied her victory. So I can see where Georgia would be a little anxious to send some messages to the Republicans. Florida. Is Florida going to go blue? Yes. Illinois. Is Illinois going to go blue for Biden? Yes. Texas. Is Texas going to go blue? Okay. Now, before everybody sends me a bunch of emails, I'm going to do Michigan now. I meant to do Michigan with Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. So I said Minnesota instead of Michigan. So I'm going to double check them both. Is Minnesota going to go blue for Biden? Yes. Okay. So that was the answer I think I got before. Michigan. Is Michigan going to go blue? Okay, so you have a solid blue block. And apparently, let's just check Maine, because I think that one was sort of a little bit up in the air for a while. Is Maine going to go blue? Yeah, and that's actually a pretty tough Senate race that's going on there. It's sort of not as quite, it's not quite as cut and dry as you would almost expect, with Susan Collins being being a senator from there. But anyways, who have I missed? Florida. Florida going to go blue? Yes. Okay, and the last one is New Mexico. New Mexico, is that going to go blue? Okay. So it looks as if that map, when all is said and done, there's going to be a great deal of blue. And I actually see sort of the red section in the middle being broken up a little bit with blue. So we'll see how that unfolds. Okay, a couple quick questions. Is Trump going to win re-election for a second term? No, he is not. Is Trump going to try to claim victory before all of the votes are counted? Yes. Okay. Is it going to work? Yeah, no. He doesn't get to claim victory. He doesn't elect kind of himself. He doesn't have final say on that. All right. Are the people who surrounded one of Biden's buses with a Trump convoy, if you will, of trucks with flags, those people apparently are under investigation by the FBI. Is that going to actually end up they're going to end up with legal issues? Yes, they absolutely are, because that's nonsense. Like, that's just flat nonsense. Can we anticipate a fair bit of clarity by sort of Wednesday midday about who won the election. Yes, and that was, of course, answering before I even stumbled through all the words. So, this is the thing. If the results come in and Biden takes both Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, well, actually, it's Pennsylvania and Florida. It's sort of like the election is over. If Biden has them, that's it. There's not a way forward for Trump. I know way too much about American politics. I really do, honestly. Okay. Is the Senate going to flip blue? Yes. Is the Senate going to flip blue by 5 or more seats? Yes. And remember, they only need 3. So that's securing them nice and tight. Is the House of Representatives going to pick up, I don't know, say 10 more seats in addition to what they hold? Okay, so, and again, a super, super strong House and Senate and presidency, looking like it's all going to go for the Democrats. And just a couple quick ones. Is Jamie Harrison, who is up against Lindsey Graham, is that he's going to win that? Is he going to win the Senate seat? So Jamie Harrison for the Senate seat. Yes. Okay. Is Mitch McConnell going to win his re-election bid? Okay, and that's now gone back to a really consistent no. And as I've said 100 times, that confuses me because Amy McGrath is, she's behind him. So unless there's a whole bunch of votes for her that haven't been polled, and listen, that's actually really possible. But as of right now, good old Pendulum says nope. Lindsey Graham Mitch McConnell is not going to win his. And by the way, nowhere is Lindsey Graham. Okay. Is there going to be a great deal of need for, legal kind of wrangling in terms of the results of this election? Is it actually going to, no. So, because again, this is the thing, right? If he gets Pennsylvania and he gets Florida, it doesn't matter if, Trump wants to quibble about some vote somewhere else. It really, really is not going to help him any. Is Donald Trump going to fire Dr. Fauci? No. Does he really, really want to? Oh, yeah, he does. Okay. Thank you, Pendulum. All right, let's take a look at Trump's tarot cards for the week starting November 1st. Very important week in his life, if for no other reason than just to create a way for him to survive legally. Oh, really interesting. This morning, as I was preparing to do this, I was told basically that a lot of the people who are really sort of really into supporting Donald Trump and kind of have that warrior attitude and stance, a lot of them also had life experiences during the American Revolution. So it's probably then not surprising that, some of Trump's attitudes really resonate with them. In like, honestly, to a degree that makes it hard for the rest of us to sort of figure out what the heck. Cat, come on down. I have a question. There we go. Sorry about that, people. I'm probably making you have some vertigo there. Okay, one more shuffle. Oh, look, there's Trump being the fool. Here we go. Trump this week, Trump this week, Trump this week. Five of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Sorrow, disappointment. I'm going to pull you back a bit. Okay, so we have the Knight of Wands, Five of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, and the Sun. And the Ten of Wands, and the High Priestess. Okay, here we go. So Trump is going to charge ahead. Excuse me, sorry. Trump is going to charge ahead this week. He is going to be very intent on riling up people's emotions, getting people angry and worked up. And he's going to be talking a lot. Like, he's just not going to stop. And the thing is if you actually look at both horses in these cards, both of them really are kind of like hesitating to go forward. It just feels, I mean, this guy looks like he's galloping a little bit, but he doesn't really, because you know what, both feet are on the ground. I don't know. It just doesn't strike me. This strikes me as a pause, as does this. So what that's telling me is that he's going to do a lot of yakking and talking, but I'm not necessarily convinced that it's going to resonate or, you know, sort of hit the right ears, if you will. He's definitely looking for, you know, he's really scared about the financial implications of him losing. And make no mistake, it's not about one other thing, okay? It's not. It's only about Trump and Trump's money and Trump's ego. So he has some real fears that this is like not going to play out well for him. And one of the things I think that terrifies him the most is what happens when he is not covered by sort of that presidential umbrella, and all of the things that he has done business-wise are going to start getting exposed. So right now he's carrying a tremendous burden of worry, which is part of the reason he's yakking. But he's really scared that when this stuff starts coming out, especially if he's, you know, does not win re-election, is he's really going to have a very hard time kind of pushing through that. And the High Priestess here is actually, she's talking to me more about like a judgment being rendered. Because some people have really had to take a long, hard look internally. And for some people who voted for Trump, so as difficult as it has been for the Democrats for the last 4 years, I think for those people who had voted for Obama and then decided to take a chance on Trump, I mean, they have been carrying, frankly, quite the weight of guilt or a sense of responsibility. And those people who didn't vote, same thing. So there's been a lot of internal housekeeping going on in the last little while. And I think that that's where you actually may see, as it's already showing, that people who didn't vote in 2016 are you know, voting in droves. And that's because, you know, they too understand exactly what is at risk here. Not only is it the soul of the country, it is the people. It is their lives. It is their health. It is their ability to work and make money. Too much is riding on this. And there's definitely a sense that, you know what, and that Trump is going to take all of that as a personal slight, because everything is about him. Yeah, see, look, he's wanting to go back. He wants to relive 2016, and it's not working for him. It's really not. And, you know, the only October surprises appear to be in the Trump campaign or in the Trump court. Biden really got through the entire October situation without a worry, frankly, in the world. I mean, Trump tried to go after Biden, Biden's son, that didn't work. Like it, so really, all the momentum is with Biden and against Trump, and he is really feeling hard done by. He's feeling very defensive. But part of him, and like, there's a little part of him that, in some ways, is just so um, relieved, but it's a small part, right? Because the bigger part of what goes on internally with him is all about money and finances and his image and his ego. But there is a small part of him that is like, oh my God, thank you. Like, I don't know that I could take another 4 years of this kind of scrutiny. And I think for as much as he's worried about um, stuff coming out after the election, you kind of get the feeling that he's making plans right now, tentative plans, maybe more solid plans, but he has a plan about figuring out how to avoid um, legal jeopardy once he is out of office. And I have said that I think he's going to leave the country. Like, I do. I don't know if he's going to try to leave the country. Whether he actually gets away with it, I don't think so, but he's going to try. And frankly, um, at the point where he doesn't have a bully pulpit anymore, his explanations or justifications, I don't think are going to land well, even with some of those people who supported him. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so for those of you who know, the Queen of Swords is often my card for Kamala. And the Lovers is one of the cards that is starting to represent the Biden-Harris ticket, right? Two people sort of moving forward with the same goals and ideas. And you have the Ace of Pentacles. And so what this is saying is, where Trump has pulled back and sort of started to really minimize how often and how frequently people see him, the Biden campaign has had way more than enough money to get them all the way through the finish line. And so, and not only that, but when you have this partnership kicking into effect, there's going to be a stability that returns to the country. And again, Trump is going to push back against that because for him, stability is like, I don't know, this, seventh circle of hell or something. I'm not sure, but he doesn't want clarity. He doesn't want anybody to see anything. And the fact that the country is going to completely repudiate and reject him and his presidency, and that in and of itself is just going to create a stabilizing influence. And that in and of itself is going to be what he sort of riles against this week. Okay, there's a lot of worry in the Trump court, and there is a lot of infighting going on. People who now realize, oh my God, the writing is on the wall. There's not a way in heck we can pull this off. They're, again, a lot of them have stood by him, but after Tuesday, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a lot more attention given to the fighting that went on and to the blaming and the arguing and, expect that, there's going to be stuff leaking out of the White House like a fire hose, okay? Not even a sieve anymore, flat on fire hose. And that is also going to work in a very direct way to hurt him, to hurt his heart, to make him sad. And he's going to be whiny and he's going to be petulant because that's what Trump does. But, I'm looking for something here that says that he's really going to wield his power. And I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing loss. I'm seeing sadness. I'm seeing walking away. I'm not seeing walking away, literally walking away from the White House, walking away, White House, broken heart. Okay. So it feels very much like, we know there isn't going to be a win for him. And, I want to really stress that Biden has generally speaking, a 96 to 98% chance of winning this election. So Trump is sitting there at best with 4 or 5%, at worst 1 or 2% of winning. So let's stop panicking and being anxiety ridden. Yeah, listen, this is not going well. And this is the thing. I actually think that he's going to lose kind of his army. Okay. A lot of people who were right in your face about supporting him are now going to pull back and start distancing themselves. And that's, again, going to make him crazy. And meanwhile, Joe and Kamala are going to be celebrated. There's going to be, like, I don't know, parties, picnics, I don't know what. But that is, again, going to be an absolute slap in Trump's face. And honestly, he deserves to be slapped for every single person who either had, continues to be ill, or died from COVID. He deserves certainly more than 1 or 2 slaps in the face. Yeah, it's going to be defensive. It's just not going to work for him. He's going to be seen as diminished. He's going to be seen as the emperor with no clothes, finally. He's going to be seen as a loser. And that is going to just make him crazy. But again, I'm not seeing any indicators that he's going to, like, try to launch a nuclear bomb. I'm not even getting any really strong sense that kind of the militia groups, they're going to kick up a bit of a fuss for a few days, but going forward, and it's, make no mistake, that energy is not going to dissipate and everybody's going to go, oh, we were wrong, let's go back to, our real lives. This is their real lives. But you're going to see them start to go underground and kind of keep planning and keep pushing forward. And I will tell you that it's important that people continue to remain vigilant, because just because, out of sight, out of mind is not a good thing, okay? Because they are going to continue trying to really push this right-wing agenda. And again, part of it, yeah, do they love Trump? Well, yeah, okay. But more, they liked what he was talking about. They liked what he was saying. And you know what? They can go to Breitbart, and they can go to Fox News, and they can go to that Rush Limbaugh Yahoo and get fed, okay? So they're going to go quiet in a little bit. I like, honestly, I don't see it lasting for too long, because once the election is called and it's clear, but they're going to start crawling underground. And publicly, you're going to see Republicans really, really starting to distance themselves. Those Republicans who hung on to his coattails and did not get reelected are really going to, you're going to see them start to pull away, because at this point, the game's over, and it doesn't matter one bit what Trump says about them anymore. They've already been destroyed by their insistence on hugging Trump. So be it. So again, don't be surprised if Trump tries to claim victory this week, but it's not going to work for him. People just, frankly, people are kind of done listening to him spout crap and garbage. But I don't see, like, it very much feels to me like by Wednesday and Thursday, Trump is belligerent but defeated, like empty. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like there isn't even a great deal of rage anymore. It's just a really overwhelming sense of defeat, a really overwhelming sense of being rejected. And so don't be surprised by Friday or Saturday if Trump is basically saying, he's going to flip that, right? He got rejected. He's going to start saying things like, well, I pushed away from you first because I knew that your support wasn't very good. Honestly, it's craziness. There's going to be more information coming out. This is going to be a bad week for Trump in terms of bad news, in terms of the election. And it's going to be bad news for Trump in his personal life. So it could be a bit of a testy week. For any of you who are not wondering, who are not or are wondering why we didn't see like a card like the Tower or something that is indicating that, you know, the election is going to be his Tower, because the Tower has happened. The Tower has been happening since January 29th or 28th, when he knew about the coronavirus. That is the Tower that absolutely brought down him and his government, because their priority was not taking care of COVID. So that was his Tower. And frankly, at this point, Trump losing the election really is kind of a bit of a foregone conclusion. One last thing. Well, two. The first one is tomorrow's video on Soulprint Insights is to calm. Just calm you, perhaps people around you. Tomorrow is going to be, you know, a day of a lot of anxiety and people wound up. So it's really, really important that everybody just stays calm. It's short. I kept it, I think it's somewhere around 15 minutes, because it might be something you might want to do, you know, once or twice over the next 2, 3, 4 days. So just so you know, it's on the Soulprint Insights channel. And finally, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, I get all these comments saying, you know, thank you for, you know, supporting us. You know, you're amazing neighbors. You know, we really appreciate it. Well, you know what? I really appreciate you guys. And I really have enjoyed getting to know you. And, you know, we're going to see going forward. At this point, I continue to carry on because my subscribers are amazing. You continue to be really active with comments and thumbs up and sharing. So fabulous. I couldn't be more grateful or happy for the support. And so as of right now, you can anticipate seeing me going forward. Certainly, you know, through the inauguration and in the early months of the Biden campaign, I, at this point, intend to be, you know, in front of my camera talking to you. For those of you who are looking for readings, I'm booking sort of like the end of November, early December timeframe. And for those of you who have donated, thank you so much. Information for the readings in the box below. And I think that's everything. So thank you so much for your support. Oh, one more thing. When you guys refer to us as neighbors, I always get this memory of George Bush after 9/11, and it was like a day or two after the attack, and he was sort of singling out and pointing out countries that had helped him, you know, or helped the country, right? And he did not thank Canada. And people got really up in arms because I don't think, and in fact, I know the dust hadn't even settled when, because I was living in Ontario at the time, the dust hadn't settled in New York when people were, you know, medics, paramedics, hydro crews, all kinds of first responders were crossing the border. They were flying across that border before the dust settled. And when Bush got called on it, and even though it was a save, and we all know it was a save, I really liked the way he saved it. What he said was, sometimes you just don't need to thank your brother. Take care. Be well. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.